Hi, everybody. I'm Blake Cabot. I am the owner of facepaint.com, and we have Chaim Taraselli. And Chaim is, this is kind of an interesting one that it's not something we normally do. Normally, we talk about designs and things like that, but this time we're going to be doing something more on the lines of talking about autism and how to face paint autism. A lot of kids have autism and how to face paint them. And Chaim obviously has this very special relationship with it, as he is autistic, and he also is trying to make it better for autistic people. So I felt like we talked about this probably about 6, 7 months ago, and Chaim wanted to do it, and I wanted to do it. So here we go. So
Hi
with
everyone.
that, Chaim,
Hi
take it
everyone.
away.
Hi everyone. My name is Chaim. I'm so happy to be here tonight. First of all, I want to thank Mr. Blake for giving me this amazing opportunity. Blake's a great guy. I was blessed to be with him at Max and at Ace. I love talking to him, and I loved having him at my birthday. And he's such a nice man. I have a lot of respect for Mr. Blake. I live about 25 minutes from facepaint.com, and I've yet to run into him there, but
Yeah, I never get to the warehouse. I work primarily from my home in Connecticut, so that's why I'm never there.
yeah. That'd be nice if you stopped in at least once. We'd love to see
Oh,
you.
I do stop in. I just don't see you when I'm there. I'm usually kind of
But
there
we're,
getting
we're,
business
we're
done.
playing tag.
Exactly.
Okay, well, I'm going to begin.
Hello, France. Anyway, so tell us. Let's start us down the road. Tell us about autism and face painting.
Okay, so I'm going to start by giving you a little bit of an intro about myself. So I was diagnosed with autism as a toddler. I was a few months old. I went to all different special needs schools. I was always in special ed. I was an IEP student. I had different staff who would take care of me, having autism that were professionally trained. And they had a lot of different things they would do with me. In middle school, I was a student of the year, and I still talk about the two coaches I had who were very positive. Mr. Martin and Mr. Grange were amazing. I still talk about them. They had a lot of motivation. And that was the year, I began to really, I really saw my future with face painting. I always had a love for face painting. You can ask any one of the people that took care of me, any one of my old teachers, any one of my old staff members. If I saw face paint, I was in seventh heaven. Every holiday, every time I went to a fair, even at school, I just loved it. I would melt into face paint. So anyway, I was in high school, and I started looking. Yeah, that's when I started really knowing that this is what I wanted to do, and then after high school, I started volunteering at an old age home, and I would sometimes, I would come in as a clown and give out balloons, and I would do face paint a little bit, and they loved it. They would ask the staff members, "Is he coming today?" And so, I had a lot of experiences with special needs and face painting. All the camps I would go to as a kid, they had face painting for a special activity, and you know, we used to we had a nice lady who's today she's much older, but we all knew her as the face paint lady, and she would come into our camp and do face paint and balloons, and
Mm-hmm.
she was part. And then my art teacher in fourth grade, used to sometimes do face paint, and we sometimes did it for
Color
school,
brushes.
for field day, and for school spirit week, and that was one of my happiest memories. So
So you came to love face painting. Now, so tell us about, and that makes total sense. So tell us about how, as a face painter, think about it from their perspective,
yeah.
how best to face paint an autistic person, or what do they need to know? Tips and tricks for that.
So it could go either way. You're going to have autistic children that they're going to melt into this like I did, or you could have some that could take it or leave it, and then you're going to have some who really just aren't going to be into it.
Hmm.
I mean, you might also get a lot of first timers because the thing about autism is it kind of takes them a little bit. Like they might be afraid at first. Like I've seen that happen a few times where they were afraid of it at first because they don't they're not used to the experience and they're not used to the idea of someone getting close to them and painting them. And then they might like I would say start off small if they want it. Start off small. Maybe start like a perfect starter design would be like maybe if it's a little girl, you can do like a little butterfly on her cheek, or if it's a boy, they could do you know You can do a ball or something sports team like a football or
And why start small?
because a lot of them it could be their first time. Like kids have sensory issues, like they don't like the feel or the touch, or they don't like somebody getting too close to them. They're not. Some kids are not used.
Uh-huh.
Like we had a little girl, who had special needs, and she used to see face paint and would run because she was kind of like she did. And then this little girl would come back, and then finally after a couple of times, she agreed to try it, and then she loved it. And for a starter of a kid with special needs, what I would do is, I would give them a little demonstration here. I got my brushes right here. I got nothing but the best in here. Hello, gorgeous. I got all Art Factory, and I got Fusion. I got Liani brushes, all of my favorites. So what you could do is here. You know, you you can give them a little demonstration, show them like, there's nothing to be afraid of, and it's meant to be a fun experience, and go gently. Like, okay, let's pretend, Blake. Let's pretend you're the kid getting painted. Okay.
Okay, that'd be fun.
Okay. So, all right. Hello there. Would you like to have your face painted? And the answer is, let's say they want something small. So, you,
Now, Rebecca Edney on YouTube said, "I'm autistic and my three kids are too. It varies greatly depending on the person. Treat them as you usually would unless you're otherwise told by them or their caregiver." Is that a
yeah,
fair statement?
that I can agree with that, but I also think you should have a little bit of awareness. Like the key thing about autism is it's a spectrum. It's not a one set answer.
Hmm.
It's not. What is right. What's going to be for one autistic person is going to be different for another.
Hmm.
Now, let's say you're the one getting painted, Blake. So you could say, "Here, I'm
Okay.
going to start gently like this," and let's say they're doing a little rainbow, and you see how soft and how nice it feels, and you
Right.
know, let's say you just do the rainbow and you do a little cloud, and they could say, and you see how nice that feels. Oh, it looks so pretty, and you could show them that it's a fun experience. There's nothing to be afraid of.
Hmm. Okay, so you do start gentle. You put the brushes on them. Um,
Yeah, yeah. Show them that face painting is meant, to be a soft and soothing experience. It's not meant to be rough. It's not meant to be like show them the beauty in it, like that it's fun to do, and.
mhm. Rachel, chat is disabled in Zoom, but you could post a question in the question and answer section. I have fidgets for kids, says Rebecca, to hold while I paint. I'm going to have a card with yes, no, and an arm face hand, so they could choose if they aren't verbal.
Yeah, I like that idea very much, Rebecca. That's a really helpful idea. I support that. I'm gonna adopt that actually, now that you
Hey,
mention it.
Gilbert. I've painted many kids, Hezi says, have autism. I found in one particular instance that it helped the child to paint on my face first.
It's funny. One of my counselors in camp used to do that also. Like, in a lot of the camps I was in, especially in elementary school, many of the kids had one-to-one aids. And for some of them, they loved it. And then I remember I must have been about 10 years old. I think it was like the summer after fourth grade.
Uh-huh.
I remember one of the counselors, she had a little girl. I mean, must have been about 6 or 7. And she said, should I get my face painted too? And the counselor did it with her. And then it made the little girl so much more motivated to do it.
Hmm. Okay.
And then I remember, I
Okay.
remember the summer after sixth grade. That was the year I had Mr. Martin and Mr. Grange. I was in a different camp that year, and they did face painting for the carnival, and I remember that some of the kids, like, it was done more than once throughout the summer.
Uh-huh.
So I remember some of the kids, like, they didn't want to do it the first time around. I mean, I remember they did it for Spirit Day, they did it for the carnival, and then I think they just did it. If I remember correctly, they just did it one afternoon for the fun of it.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
They um uh IE Face Painter says, yes, showing that it's safe. I also like to hand them my brush and ask them if they want to try it on my arm. Sometimes that helps.
Yeah, I've seen that also. I think that could be a good tip. I mean, It's
And Mama Mia face painting says, "What is the best way to handle nonverbal guests when you ask what do they want and they cannot answer?"
okay. That's an excellent question. Well, I mean, you could point to your menu board. I mean, you could demonstrate it, like act out what the character is. Let's say you want to be a tiger. You could like point to the tiger, or you could like
Hmm.
act out being a tiger, not go roar, because that could scare them. But
Hmm. And what about getting into your chair? How would you ease his or her concerns?
what do you mean to actually sit in the chair?
Yeah, that doesn't bother them. No. Okay.
I mean,
Or getting them into a chair.
I don't know if that part is the hardest part. I mean, it's more like getting them to stay would be, my thing.
Okay.
Because I've had kids who, like would get very anxious, and I've had kids who couldn't sit still for it, and that's why, I mean, anxiety is a normal thing for people with autism. I
Hmm.
mean, first of all, it sucks. I have
Frankly,
anxiety.
it's pretty useful for the rest of us too. We got plenty of it.
It's
Um,
having
eh,
anxiety, friend. Believe me.
yeah, and somebody suggested they shouldn't think boy things or girl things. Provide a list of things. Would
No,
you
I
agree?
do. I do. I don't genderize my designs.
Uh-huh.
My thing is, if a boy wants to be a princess or have pretty flowers, they can. If a girl wants to be a superhero or one of the boy characters, they can too. My objective is just to make the kids happy.
Okay.
I just want that when I finally hand them the mirror, they're happy and they're smiling, and that makes me know my job as a face painter
Hmm.
has been successful. Like recently, I had two of my biggest jobs over the summer, and I was so proud of myself after all of them. There was this one little girl who wanted to be a butterfly, and like she was so happy, and her mom couldn't stop praising me. And her mom messaged me later and said she didn't want to take it off when she got home, and she was, and then she sent the pictures to all her friends, and that just made my heart soar. It made me know my mission as a face painter brought joy to somebody else. And part of the reason I wanted to be a face painter was actually so I could have something special to give to special needs children and families, and I could have something I could give them. And I'm horrible at balloon twisting, and every time I try it, I manage to pop every single one of them. And
Uh,
not a magician. And
so face painting.
regular face painting is my thing, and I always felt like the texture. It feels like nice lotion, and it feels like somebody putting it was always a very relaxing experience for me. Like
Right.
it felt like somebody putting nice lotion on your face. And I'm not, I mean, look, I'm not a fan of airbrush. This is my own experience. Like I didn't like it was a sensory experience.
Uh-huh.
I did try it a couple of times, and I did try it at my last convention. Michelle, I love you. This is no offense. Michelle Trademan did an amazing job with the design I asked for.
Hmm.
I love Michelle. She's a sweet lady. So the thing I didn't like, it was a sensory experience. Like I didn't like the air. It felt a little like the dentist's office.
Hmm.
I didn't like the that alcoholic smell, and I didn't like the pressure of it. So I feel
Hmm.
like with face painting, it's a little softer. And
Hmm.
look, this is all due respect. Look,
Sure. Some people do it. Some people don't. That's not
yeah,
a negative.
here's the
Karina says, "Lovely to see you, Heim. I know you love face painting." And Karina says, "I think it's important to remember that our egos to finish what makes us look good needs to be put aside. When the guest is done, they are done."
yeah. I can agree with that. I mean, I
Uh,
wouldn't.
Renee asks, "How did you or do you get over issues in the face painting world as an autistic painter?"
Okay, that's a great question. All right. So there were many times I wanted to give up. I was I had some not easy experiences.
Hmm.
There were times, I would feel upset, and I was not happy with something that happened. And
Sure,
I
but that's true with all of us.
I developed a great relationship with, and then I had some, who I just couldn't connect with, no matter how hard I tried. I used various coping skills. I told myself that, you know, my old gym coach, Mr. Martin and Mr. Grange, would always tell us, We're here to have fun. We're not here to, this is about, I would remember that. The face painting is about having fun and being positive. And
Hmm.
those two coaches had a real impact on me. And I always tell people, I was telling everyone at the convention, he was a great, they were two, I wanted to nominate them for teachers of the year, So, so
Hmm.
I would just try again. I would come home. I would, talk to my family. I would talk to my clinician and my social worker. I mean, we would talk about, what went wrong and what we could do differently next time. And we
Uh-huh.
would talk about, what are some coping skills we could bring with me. And, we would talk about, I mean, we'd remind ourselves that, we're all in this together and it's not, like, I would just say do the best you can, paint from the heart. There was a basketball quote I grew up loving the movie Air Bud, about the dog that plays basketball. Did you ever see that?
Nope.
It was one of my favorite childhood movies. And I remember in one of the scenes, there was a basketball coach that, sorry guys about that. There was a basketball coach that handed one of the players a card that said paint, play from the heart. And,
Hmm.
it's all in here,
Okay.
You got to do
Now,
everything on the,
Pam asks, many autistic have a hard time with touch. I'm used to putting my hand on their head. I try to recognize this as you can kind of tell if it's troubling them and adjust accordingly.
yeah, I can agree with that, I
Okay.
can agree with that.
Okay. Well, I think we're out of questions. So why don't we paint a little bit?
Okay, let's do that. Hey, give me another 2 minutes. Actually, you know what? Can my mom come on now?
Your mom can come on now.
Okay, everyone, you have a really lovely visitor tonight. She's the woman who's my whole world. She's my beautiful mom. Here she is. Her name is Amy
Hi.
Hi, Amy.
Blake.
Hi, Mr. Blake. Thanks for having Climb on tonight.
Yeah. It's been a long time in the coming.
Well, I'm really, really proud of him, and I think he's worked very hard to get his face painting under control and to start his business.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's great. Well, I'm glad to meet you.
Excellent.
yeah.
Terrific.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah,
You're
she's
very welcome. Thank you very much. Another question came in from Facebook. Um, sensories to be aware of: smell, touch, sound, anything else? Great, Haim, you mentioned smell. Didn't think of that one. How do you resolve? Tell them first, or ask the parents if the smell would bother them, or
well,
avoid anything with smell, touch. Be aware of how soft your sponges are. Their different softness with the brands.
yeah,
Do we warn them of the pressure? Tickle them? Warn them could tickle, or just paint? Sounds better to
yeah.
talk
Would
them
just
through
be
it.
like soft tickle. Face painting to me does not have a smell. Like I always thought it smelled lovely and smelled like coconut. It's more the airbrush. Like I didn't like that alcohol.
Portugal. Hmm.
I didn't like that alcohol smell. I mean, I don't find face painting to be the problem. Like henna, I don't like. Because of the sensory
Uh-huh.
and I didn't like the texture of it. And Margie Nugent would kill me if I gave my real reason live, so it's best I don't. I'm sorry, Margie. I love you. Anyway, I always found like I didn't like that rough feeling like when they did the henna.
And is there any difference between, Mom Me asks, have you noticed a sensory experience difference for kids with sponge versus brushes?
To be honest, not really. And I've never felt it myself. Like I didn't like certain textures as a kid.
Hmm.
I didn't like certain, textures. Like
Like what? Oh, okay.
I
Maybe
didn't
it's,
like, let's think of a good one. Like I remember certain songs I didn't like. I remember, like if we were in a store and a song came on that I didn't like, I would probably get a little upset. And like that was like a texture. And then, I didn't like things like big trucks coming at me and like so that's why like the thing about autism is the brain is tuned in a different way and the reaction could be a little different.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. That
Yeah,
makes sense.
it's like I remember, people are going to think this one is funny. People know that besides for face painting, my other passion is trains and subways.
Uh-huh.
So I remember, as much as I loved seeing the trains and riding them, like sometimes like the fast moving trains, my senses were tuned in like when we were standing on the Amtrak platform, like my grandparents lived in Baltimore, and when the fast Acela train would go by, I remember like that was like a huge sensory experience for me. And like the thing that this can relate to face painting, like sometimes, like some kids are not used to the idea of either somebody getting a little close to them or somebody, or just maybe the idea of looking different, or like I know people like they would get their faces painted and they didn't like it because they made them like they loved it until they looked in the mirror, and then they would want, oh, I want this, I want to wash it off, and they would start crying. I've seen that happen in
Mhm.
camp,
Okay.
and
Fair enough.
it's not an uncommon thing to happen. So it's like that's why it's like, again, talking them through it is probably a good way to do it.
Mhm. Okay. Well, let's show some designs that would be good for autistic children.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here is my beloved face paint kit. It's in a beautiful bag. I love this unicorn bag. I bring the bag with me to all the conventions. Some
I've
of
seen that
you,
bag.
you've seen that bag. I got a question.
Happy Face Confetti says Cass, with my own daughter, who is autistic. She prefers the feeling of sponges. Wet and cold feeling of a brush is a little too much for her. Usually I sponge first for her.
That can
I think
that
everybody's varies.
that can be possible too. Blake, I got a question for you.
Uh-huh.
When
Buy
do I
low, sell high.
your face?
What?
When do I get to paint your face?
Well, maybe next time I'm at a convention.
Oh boy, yeah, that's gonna be history. What are we gonna paint you as?
Uh, I'm gonna leave that to later because I don't really have an idea right now. Well, I've always wanted to be a butterfly.
Oh, we'll make that happen. You want a butterfly? You're talking to the right person. Wearing
Okay.
my shirt, and I got a butterfly necklace on tonight.
Oh, here's a question. Get ready for painting. My question
Yeah.
is how do we disinfect our brushes in between without leaving an alcoholic smell? As I use a spray and do not have a buildup of inventory of brushes yet. I've been painting for a few months now and hope to acquire more, but for the meantime. So
Okay.
if someone's cleaning their brushes with alcohol, would that smell bother someone with autism?
I mean, that's a very good question, actually. I
Hmm.
mean, I don't feel it as much with face painting as I did with airbrush.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I would say is maybe a little bit of air freshener could help that. Like after you clean it up, maybe a little bit of like an air freshener, or that's really a good question, by the way. I didn't even think of that.
Hmm.
I mean, look, I'm the kind of person, I wear perfume, and so it's like it's not like I don't know. I guess other than air freshener, that's a really great question. All right,
Okay.
design is we have two options. Either we can do a quick rose, we could do a small butterfly, or we can do a soccer ball. But
I'm going to go with a quick rose.
go with the quick rose. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Now roses are some of my favorite things to paint. I did a workshop. I did two workshops, last year. Hold on. And I did so well in both of them. Bianca Hanna was one, and my beautiful Teresa and Sarah was the other. I love painting flowers. They just put my mind to such happy things, and I love painting
Hmm.
butterflies. And I love, I do all the pretty stuff. All right, so I got to turn the camera like this for that, right?
Yeah, and get a little closer so we can see what you're painting.
Okay.
Uh, are there words of comfort for autistic children that you've used that you would suggest?
I mean, nothing. Hold on. Sorry, I just got nothing out of the ordinary. I mean, I don't know about if it's anything different than what you would use for a regular child. Like, I call everyone sweetie and sweetheart and love and honey, and it's nothing out of the ordinary. It's nothing like I guess maybe if need be, talk with a softer tone of voice. Hold on.
Uh huh.
I just gotta see how to position this camera, you know. I get
What? Maybe just paint your face.
Nah, I'm horrible at painting my own face.
Okay, then paint your
I
arm. But just
tried. It was a disaster, believe me.
okay, then just to organize the
I'm just
the
gonna do it
camera.
on my really quick. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try.
Uh,
I'm sorry, my cat is being a little wild. Noises. And we got two cats in our house.
it's okay.
All right, so here we go. All right, so I'm gonna take my Art Factory brush, 5x8. I'm an everything Art Factory boy. You know, I love their glitter. I love their brushes. It's like a second home for me.
Hmm.
All right, so here we go. I'm gonna load my brush. All right, hold on 1 second, guys. Yeah, so I mean, okay, now we got my brush loaded. Now Teresa and Sarah taught me a great, tip for roses, and I use this. Hold on, I just gotta see if this. Yeah, that's perfect. That'll work. Okay, so we start. I would just again start off gently. Got to make the outline. See, I got the 3 lines. And there you go. That's the beginner. Then hold on. Then you got to do the outline. So you got the outline right there. Okay, yes, I can paint my arm. It's just not my face.
It is your face. No, no, it's not. It's your arm.
Now, you saw me paint my own face, you'd be like, oh, who did this? Like, that wasn't Chaim Taraselli who did it.
Okay.
And then, we're going to, you know, there you got the pedal.
Uh-huh.
I also love the last year at Max, Irene Meldon gave me a one-on-one demo on roses, and it was, I love when I get demos with my fellow painters.
Mm-hmm. Rebecca says a lot of praise for doing a good job and a reminder how long it's going to take as you work so they know what to expect. That's a good idea, Rebecca.
Okay, and there you have it, a beautiful rose.
Okay, there's a
And, I would
rose.
just keep it, again, keep it soft. Don't, come on them in like a rough, way.
Yeah, usually face painters just beat the heck out of kids.
No,
Slap them around.
actually, you'll
Sit
be,
down. Shut up. I'm gonna face paint and you're gonna like it.
yeah.
Okay, well, let's do another couple designs.
Okay, what's the next one? What's your
You,
vote for the next one?
I don't know. You mentioned butterfly.
Okay, so let me get my butterfly stencil out. I get a lot of my stencils from Kim Hatch, and I love all her stencils. She's actually making me a personal Michelle Branch one. I love Michelle Branch. That's like my favorite singer. And everybody's heard me say it. I could listen to her music all night long and just never get sick of it. All you wanted is like a gorgeous song. That's so she's making me my own stencil for her because I've seen so many Taylor Swift designs. I just seen, I just haven't seen a good Michelle Branch one, but I'm going to be the first to have it.
Susanna says roses are so hard to do. Well done for mastering. I'm not good at them. Well, we have a couple of other webinars of various people doing roses. So if you go to facepaint.com and go to our Facebook page, you'll see some
Right.
roses because
Here
we
we
did
go.
a bunch of roses in the past.
No, I did a
So,
lot of practice on roses. They walked me through the basics.
sure.
All right, here we go. Now, this is one of my favorite butterfly stencils. You have the outline, then you have the detail. All right, so we're gonna do this. Probably let's do it next to the rose. Okay. Pink and purple. I'm an everything fusion painter. Trying to make sure. Good, perfect. Now, I do use stencils for a lot of it. Not everything though. I mainly do the full face butterflies, but being that this is one of my favorite stencils, like sometimes I use it as like the butterfly body. Sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
so it actually is a really good one, and it also works well with flower designs. Okay. Here, we got to load my sponge. All right, I'm sorry. Just hold on. I just gotta have a good way to put my arm. Yeah, all right, hold on. All right, you know what? We can do it on the palm of my hand. That'll work. Yeah.
It is really hard
Or
to
you
use
know what?
a stencil on your own arm.
What? No, I could. It's not the issue, you know.
Although we can't see anything right now.
Okay, let me fix that for you. There we go. Now you can see it.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna put my stencil like this.
Uh-huh.
Crap. Sorry, it fell again. I think the sponge needs a little more paint.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. And you know, I wouldn't go super hard on the kid. Like I would, it may be a good exercise would be go, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you know, I would again, I would keep it soft. I would even make it like an extra. You know, I keep stickers with me when I paint.
Mm-hmm.
There we have.
Susanna says, one day I'll paint Chaim with one of my rainbow butterflies. There you go.
Who said that?
Susanna.
Oh, I would only be honored, Susanna. Yeah, let's make it happen.
And Anna says, what should we do if a child asks for something that you don't know how to do? Sometimes kids with autism are very specific about a
You
type
know,
of train, plane, dinosaur.
that happened many times. You know, I've had kids ask for things that I've
Hi,
never
Candy.
heard of. And I've had kids ask for things that, you know, I didn't feel was the right thing to do. Like we were at a pool party last summer. At my town pool, they've been very good to me. They would let me face paint there.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I had a kid ask me to paint his stomach, and I didn't feel, obviously, that's not appropriate. You know, I mean, the kid doesn't know me, you know. You know, if his
Mm-hmm.
parents were there, it's, you know, look, it's not appropriate. And I said gently, and no, sweetie, I'm sorry, I can't do that. But I said, if you want, you know, I can give you something nice on your arm, or I can give you something, you know. And, and I've had kids ask for, you know, really peculiar things like, here, I'm just got the butterfly going again.
Okay, sure. Great.
Like I've had kids ask for things like, you know, like different TV characters I've never heard of, and
Yeah, well, that happens to everybody, I presume.
butterflies. Well,
But so if they get really weirdly specific, like I want to train with green lines, I presume you do as close as what you want.
actually, you want to train with green lines. You're talking to the very right guy. I actually do. I do love painting train designs, and a day out with Thomas, we would get face painted. And I've been studying some of the different characters, you know, Thomas and Percy and Gordon and Edward. And train with green lines. You'd be asking the very right guy for that.
Okay.
If you want to know, like, the thing I wouldn't be good at doing, I wouldn't be good at all the Halloween stuff. I don't celebrate Halloween, you know, for religious reasons.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not great with some of the TV characters. You know, some of them I never even heard of until I was started going to the convention. Like I haven't even heard of Venom or Thanos till I was going to the conventions and they would talk about it. I'm not great with it. So.
Mm-hmm.
On the other hand, I'm great with things like SpongeBob, and I did a cute one of those, and I can do cute Care Bears, and obviously My Little Pony is my life, you know.
Uh-huh.
And so I guess I would just say gently, either I would Google a picture on how to do it and do the best I can, or I would say no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. I would just direct them to something else. And now I know that it's possible they could throw a meltdown over that, and nobody wants to deal with that.
Right.
Nobody wants to deal with meltdowns, and I
Okay.
mean, I would just like redirect them if the design they want you don't know how to do. Like I would just gently redirect them, and try to get them, just again softly, be as gentle as possible, but say, I'm sorry, I don't know how to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And, I
Okay.
had it happen with a birthday party once where the kids were asking for things that I've never even heard of, like sword designs, and I just said, that's why I mainly try to get them to choose things from my menu board.
Okay. And what happens if a kid has a meltdown? What should you do?
Well, okay, that's a very excellent question, and this is bound to happen. I would say, first things first, remain calm, remain patient. Do not, you know, do not panic. Okay. The key thing to remember is, it's possible that they can't necessarily help it, and I would just, again be as don't add to it. Don't, you know, I would just, again be as soft as possible. Try to, if their parents are there, and just, be as soothing and as possible. Like one thing that always triggered me is I cannot stand super rough people. Like it would always trigger me when I had to deal with somebody aggressive. So that's like the one thing I always encourage people not to be. So it's like, again, be as soothing as possible. Tell them it's okay. We can, and I guess, you could try to try to redirect them to something else, or like remain calm and know that it's like the thing about autism is that they really cannot help it. It's like, it's not like it's not their fault. Like they're doing this behavior wise on purpose. There's a quote I saw in some of the autism groups that what we see
Mm-hmm.
as a failure to behave properly is often a failure to communicate properly.
Mm-hmm.
I would ask myself, many times, why do I have to have autism? And look, God made us this way for a reason. We can't change it. This is who we are.
True.
And so just like remain calm and just try to have a little bit of understanding and a little bit of, you know, and a little bit of grace, and just know that, like I would hope it doesn't get super like aggressive. Like if they start, this is not likely to happen, but I would hope they don't, like, a meltdown could be many things.
Okay.
Like a meltdown for me as a kid would mean I would start crying and just be really upset, and my mom or my care staff would have to hold me, and I remember my grandpa, he was like when I had meltdowns, he was the man to call. My grandpa, God rest his soul, he would sit with me and comfort me, and if we needed to go out and go for a ride in the car and go down to the park or go down to the waterfront or go get an ice cream.
So you distract the kids somehow. Like
Yeah,
Coco is talking about. Sometimes they let children hold a small a brush or a small mirror to kind of distract them.
yeah, sensory toys is actually a very good idea, and I support that idea 1,000%.
And Rebecca says an autistic meltdown is not the same as a temper tantrum. They're almost caused by overstimulation. To give them space, just don't say too
I,
much.
I I agree with that 1,000%. I think a lot of people have that misconception out there.
Yeah, yeah. They're not behaving badly. They're reacting to their environment.
Yeah, and then another thing is, a lot of times when you go to an event and they're playing really loud music,
Yeah.
that can also be sometimes rough for the kids. I didn't like that when we would go to family fun day and they were blasting music. That would really bother me. And
My daughter tells her son that she knows he is having very big feelings and try to take big breaths to calm down.
yeah, we do the same thing. Deep breathing is an excellent technique. That's what I do.
Hmm.
That's what my family always would tell me to do.
Uh-huh. That's awesome. Okay, any more designs we want to do?
Uh, yeah. I mean, we could try to. Let me think of a good. What other one do we want to see tonight?
Up to you. Artist choice.
Artist choice. All right. Another good one is, hold on one second, guys. Well, the flower was a great one, and then, the butterfly was great, and then, hmm, then we could do a little football also. Kids love sports design. Like when we were in elementary school, I was always in special ed. Like I was most of the years of my schooling career, I was in a special ed class, but I was mainstreamed. So we had two other kids, in the program, and and it was a regular school. You had math class, you had science, you had history, but it was a little more laid back. And I remember we would join for the mainstream for like special events. And I remember, like in fourth and fifth grade, they had where they would do a little bit of face painting. I remember my buddy who was the same age I was. His name is Barry. I
Mm-hmm.
haven't seen him since seventh grade, obviously, which is kind of sad because I miss him. But I remember when we did the face painting, he would, he got like a little football on his cheek, or I think it was either a soccer ball. So we could do a little football. That would be a great one. And
How? Oh, you mentioned a ball. They want to see the ball.
yeah, let's do the ball. Okay. I'll give you guys a vote: baseball or basketball, or baseball or football.
Mm-hmm.
Pick
I want baseball.
baseball. It is. Let's go Yankees.
There you go.
Yeah, football. You're gonna laugh at this. I never got it. It's like all I see in it is too many rules. And hockey, on the other hand, I'm a major Islander fan. That's my family's team. That's my team. They've been having a better season than last year. That's for sure. Last year they lost nearly every single game. But all right, here we go. Here's my fusion.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So yeah, sports designs are very common. Like, see, the thing that why sports designs are good for autistic kids is because they're very quick and they're not overstimulating. Like a lot of the monster faces or like the more advanced ones might be a little overstimulating for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have a New York Islander logo. Our goalie, he's coming along well, but young guy. He's had his good days. All right, so let's start with this baseball over here. I'm supposed to go to an Islander game with some friends this month. All right, so I'm gonna do the baseball right next to the rose. We're gonna start with the little ball. We're major Yankee fans. My dad took us to Mariano Rivera Day. I
Mm-hmm.
remember what that was. That was a nice day, but they lost that game. While I'm painting, are there any more questions?
Uh, uh, Not really. Some people want soccer balls.
I can do a soccer ball as well.
Well, why don't we just do a soccer ball then? It's close enough.
Okay, good. I mean, I already started the baseball, but we can do a soccer ball as well.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I remember in elementary school that was like the common design, like for a lot of my classmates. They would all get sports themed designs.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember there was another classmate of mine who was a girl, and she would get like a little logo on her cheeks. So that was one of my happiest memories of face painting when they did it for school spirit week, and it was like just a fun day.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so obviously there's not much of a difference. Baseball, soccer ball. Okay, so we're gonna take my American Body Art brush. I love Erica Harrison. She's such a sweet lady. I have a few of her brushes in my kit.
Uh-huh.
I was at Fabaic with her.
Can you raise your arm a little bit? Thank
Yeah,
you.
gotcha. Hold on, let me turn this. Remember, I'm not the best with computers, and technical details.
Got it.
So we're gonna start with the ball over here. Yeah, in high school I took a computer class, and it was not a class I passed. Graphic design. Okay, so there we got the middle of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
And now the other thing we're gonna do is on the side, we gotta do a little more
Mm-hmm.
over here. Yeah, this is like a cute design for like, a family fun day. The kids would love that. That's another favorite place of mine to paint. Blake,
Okay.
the next time I see you, we'll paint your face as a beautiful pink princess. What do you say to that?
I was going to go with butterfly.
That's how we have our fun. We'll make you a butterfly princess. You'll be Princess Blake.
Although, honestly, I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good with being a princess.
Yeah, you'd be the coolest.
Irene asks, "What is your favorite brush?"
My favorite brush is, I love the Leanne brushes.
Hmm.
And I'm very happy Irene is here. I love Irene. We call her the dolphin lady. She does the most beautiful dolphin designs. We're gonna do the outline here. And we're just gonna go right. Yeah, you'll be the coolest father if you were a princess. You'll be the coolest man around. We'll give you a badge of honor for doing it.
Oh, I don't think I'd ever be the coolest man around. I think that's kind of there's a lot of people on that list that I'm not on. It's sort of at 60 years old,
Yeah,
you're really
because
just not going to be the
I
coolest
love to
person
paint
around.
a man as a princess. Believe me, Blake. I know I'm a funny guy. They don't call me the clown for nothing.
There you
All
go.
right.
That's a pretty good ball.
Yeah, it's coming along nicely. You know. And hold on, we're just gonna do a little more over here. And there you have it. Beautiful soccer ball.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I watch a lot of soccer movies sometimes. All right, so any more questions?
No, I think that's it.
All right, so I'm also going to have a little sheet of tips available for everybody.
So just post it as a response to this webinar on Facebook,
All
and
right.
then they'll get it.
Yeah, so I'm very proud to be a face painter. I'm very proud. This is God's gift to me. It's something I take a lot of joy in, and something I really worked hard.
Hmm.
And, I'm very proud of all this. And again, thank you for allowing this, Blake, and thank all of
Sure.
you. You guys have been great supports for so many years.
Yeah. Um, they have been, and their community is very proud of you. And so they've been talking about this kind of throughout the session. So, for instance, Deborah said, just a comment. It's been delightful to see how far you're coming in your face painting, Heim. I'm now starting the journey myself. So, and thank you for your wisdom, says Kim. And I like the closed caption. Huh? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you. I want to thank everybody for coming. Next week we're going to have We're going to have some other people. We're going to be doing a blacklight face painting with
That is cool.
Mythica Blessing or Blessing Mythica. There we go. Blessing Mythica.
That I haven't gotten to yet. I would love to try Blacklight.
Yeah. And
Sucker.
Mythica Blessing, it'll be at 5:30 Eastern on December 9th. And then we're going to have Winter Wonderland with Valerie Vella.
Love
Uh,
Valerie.
there you go, December 16th, 2024. And we also have a master class, which we're going to be giving some huge discounts on. So don't worry about it, whether it costs more. It won't. And this is going to be on facepaint.com. And we're going to be doing mastering a master class on Christmas designs with Kelly Burris on December 5th at 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So Susanna says, great job, my friend. Magic Butterfly Event says, thank you.
Right.
Karina says, great seeing you. Barbara Bates, thank you for giving us your insights. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for coming. I look forward to seeing you. I hope you had a fun and productive time. Have a great evening.
Bless you guys. Thanks for watching. And, I always tell you guys, in all my posts, you know how much I love my face paint family. And you guys mean everything to me. And again, thank you for all your love and care over the years. And I'm very grateful to see all of you at my conventions and all the workshops. And every day I thank the good Lord that you guys are in my life. and thanks for everything. And I will see you all again soon.
Okay.